Only when the gain is greater than the pain will you push through your fears and make change happen and make it stick. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever been in such pain in your life that you felt compelled to change your life for the better forever and you took the action to make it happen? Well, that's what I did. Multiple times I reinvented myself to become a better version of me, to become my best future self. Nowadays, I'm a best-selling author with Asexual Perspectives book under my own book publishing imprint of Quirky Books. And I help asexuals with love, life, confidence, dating, and relationships, predominantly on my Asexualise, My Asexual Life YouTube channel, chat show, and vlog, which has had over 500,000 views. Asexuality is a sexual orientation that's a lack of sexual attraction. And what that means for me as a romantic asexual is I don't get the need, urge, or want for partnered sexual intercourse. But I still get attracted to guys romantically and aesthetically, just not sexually. I don't have those feelings. I've been featured on the Jeremy Vine show, on BBC Radio with Graham Torrington, on FemMedic website, in the Daily Star, Daily Mirror newspapers, and on a variety of podcasts, such as Sense of Soul and Lifeology Radio, which has over 3 million listeners per episode. But it wasn't always like this. I had my first heterosexual boyfriend at just 6 years old. I thought I was heterosexual for years of my life, and I was a suicidal, depressed mess with no purpose. That's how my talk started at Oxford University, with the added thing that said, I want you to remember this quote, whereas I went straight into the quote with you. So how did Oxford University talk go for bLU Talks? I'm going to explain to you now what it was like as a person who's never spoken at a bLU Talks event before, how I did or didn't manage my anxiety very well, and Oxford itself, and everything else in between. So I want to say happy Ace Week. It was an honour to speak on Asexual Awareness Week, during Asexual Awareness Week on Monday the 23rd of October at Oxford University for bLU Talks, sharing my life story of how I reinvented myself to become my future best self. And that's what I was explaining to others how to do at the end. There was actionable steps they could take away from my talk. Now, my talk shared my life journey. I've just done the first bit of my talk for you. And so it included asexuality. So I was bringing asexuality to a more global audience. The talk will be available on this channel in the future. It will be available on bLU Talks channel first of all. It will go on places like Roku TV and also Connect TV and some other places. So this is really helping getting the word out of asexuality to a more global audience. And I think overall the talk went well, and I am really pleased that I succeeded and I did it, because it was hard. It was harder than I thought to go and do public speaking. So I spoke at the UK Asexuality Conference before in 2018, and I was anxious about doing that, but I don't remember being that anxious. When I was going to talk at Oxford University for bLU Talks, I was so much more anxious, to the point where it's making me physically really poorly. I was getting very worried about myself. I'll be honest with you, it's very hard for me. In the lead up to doing the talk, I've had a lot of nerves, like in my stomach. My stomach's been in knots multiple times. And it's just been not in a good way. It's literally been like it's been a knot inside, screwed up like a piece of paper. And so that hasn't been good for my physical health. Made me eat more, because when your body goes into overdrive of anxiety, it automatically goes into a fight or flight response, and your body naturally has like more blood going to the heart and around the main organs. And so therefore it needs more energy to pump around the body, and the way it's designed is so that your ready to flee at any moment, fight, or flee. So your body automatically needs more food. So it just made me so much more hungrier. I get hungry as it is, but it made me even more hungry. So I probably like ate more than I would have usually done, I think, had I not had all that anxiety. So in the lead up to it's really difficult. As you know, some of the techniques I used in the weeks leading up to it was going out and having fun, having meals out, going to the cinema, trying to take my mind off my talk, trying to incorporate relaxation into it. I remember one night I was just like, I don't care anymore. I couldn't give a shit. I did care, obviously, but I just was past caring in the sense that my stomach was just killing me. It was like, like this. So it's very difficult when I got fibromyalgia, all the traveling. I had to change once on the train up there, change trains. I had to change twice on the way coming back, and there was actually delays coming back. And luckily, the train staff held the later train for us. Well, the last train they held the last train till later for us, I should say, because otherwise we couldn't have got home because there was red lights going off, signals going off on the railway lines with engineering works. So yeah, but if I talk about my time going up there, like I was packing until the early hours of the morning. I had my best friend helping me at the end of the phone. We're getting me maps and stuff off Google Maps to places that I was visiting, and they were really kind and caring to me, very loving friend and supportive. And I basically got just over an hour's sleep, I think it was 1 hour's sleep. So that was really difficult going out with not much sleep. Was it 1 hour or was it 2 hours? It might have been 2 hours. Yeah, I think it might have been. No, or was it 1 hour? Oh no, I didn't get any sleep. Sorry, I didn't get any sleep. So when it was Saturday night, I didn't sleep at all. I stayed on the bed and I tried to sleep for an hour and a half. I got absolutely no way. I kept going to the toilet, but for an hour, basically, I got an hour's rest and that was it. But I wasn't asleep, so I didn't get any sleep on the Saturday. So when I was traveling to Oxford on the Sunday, my mood was really low, actually. I was really anxiety induced. My mood was very low, and I think that's partly because I didn't have any sleep. And I was so knackered, like, so tired. And it was really hard, and when I went up there, it's like I didn't see any of the bLU Talk staff when I went up there, any of the bLU Talk's other speakers, so I didn't see any of them till the actual day I was speaking. And so I was on my own. I was feeling a bit down because I was so anxiety induced. I mean, to the point of excruciating tummy pain. It was really difficult for me to like just breathe and be me. And, I wasn't too keen on Oxford when I first went there. I was feeling down about the place. I thought Exeter's much better. I'd rather be back in Exeter. But my hotel was absolutely amazing and sensational. I really loved the hotel. I booked the Premier in Oxford Westgate. It was literally bang opposite the shopping centre. So you literally went across the road into the shopping centre. Fabulous architecture on the outside, beautiful decor on the inside, great staff, lovely spacious rooms, double power shower. You could have fitted 2 people in there, massive shower hose, small hose. And the hotel room made my stay a lot more worthwhile and a lot more happier. I have to say, I was so thrilled with my hotel room. It was very luxurious, very sumptuous. Someone commented there was a purple neon light. I'm like, yeah, because obviously with it being ACE week, Asexuality Awareness Week, that was very appropriate. So I was really happy about that. So it did help me a lot, that did. But when I went to have my food, I went into the Oxford Westgate shopping centre and I went upstairs and I ate in Nando's there. So that was nice. But it was annoying me because I had to get a new alarm clock because my alarm clock had broken. The battery had corroded and I just couldn't use it even though I cleaned it out. So I'd ordered a small alarm clock, which my best friend suggested. I think I was one who suggested get it from Argos, and he said to me, looked online, and there was one available. So I paid for it, but I didn't realise till I got there that it was collect after 4. But I wanted to go to the cinema because I felt the cinema would help me to calm down before my talk the next day. But the cinema was at another part of the city, And so and Sainsbury's was shutting at 5 and I was still wouldn't be back by then. Because when I went in there to Sainsbury's, the guy said, "Oh, your paperwork says collect after 4." I thought it said before 4 because the shop shut early in the UK on Sundays. So by this time it was like 1:27 or something, I think. And he said it won't even come till after 2. So it's not even on its way, basically. So anyway, I thought I'll just go and eat in Nando's, and then I guess I go to the cinema because they said that even if the store's closed, the guy who was the shift manager or whatever he was, the guy in the kiosk as well, customer service said if you just bang on the door on the side, then we'll give you it later, so you don't have to like worry. You can go and enjoy the cinema. But I was really worried about that. But anyway, I stayed in the shopping center, went further up. It was like on a really nice tall balcony thing. I think I've got footage of that because I've still got quite a lot of video footage and photographs to upload to this channel and my other social media. I haven't been able to do it yet because when I got back from Oxford this Wednesday, early hours, I was in a summit. I've been in an online business summit for the last 3 days. Now, there is a meaning to this because it's by Fuchsia Talent, or I've already been interviewed by Fuchsia for an article for their site, of course, talking about asexuality. So they invited me to this summit and said, I really encourage you to go. And I wanted to go because obviously I'm going to be in an article on their site. Now, they have got a collective over 5 million followers, so this is huge for asexuality. So I thought I really need to get to know the company better and everything. So I've got a questionnaire to fill out. So they interviewed me on video call and then they said, we want you to do a follow-up questionnaire. And then from that, they're going to do an article, an inspirational article on what I do to help asexuals, basically, like my entrepreneur asexual endeavors. So this is really huge for asexuality. So I didn't get back till the early hours of Wednesday. Got a sale on eBay for 97 quid plus postage. Had to package all that up, and then the summit was happening. I had to go out and quickly post it before the summit started, and I didn't get much sleep. I still haven't had a solid 8 hours sleep since I've been back. It's been more like 6 to 7 hours. So I'm still sleepy, really. And I wasn't very well yesterday. My throat was on fire last night, so I couldn't stream. Anyway, I digress. So we're going back to Oxford, what I was saying. So I went upstairs and they have like in the shopping centre, Nando's is upstairs. And they got a couple of Nando's, by the way, one in the city, main city centre, and one actually in the shopping centre. I think it probably got even more than that. But anyway, it was upstairs and there's like this really nice views spread all across the city. So I did take I think I took a video footage and photographs. I couldn't use my internet much on my phone because I haven't got much. I've only got 2 gigabytes the whole of the month. And so I've already like used 1.2 something gigabytes and I didn't want to continue using it because I knew I'd used it all up. And I'll need that for emergencies and other things during this month. So, and I didn't have access to Wi-Fi a lot of the time, using other people's Wi-Fi. So I just took video footage, photographs that I will be sharing, So I've got quite a lot to catch up on. Like being in a summit since I've been back, like for the whole 3 days has been hard. Like yesterday I unpacked my case. Today I've been trying to catch up with some stuff, it's like, But well, today I've been on the summit, so I haven't done that much. But I've started, I'm digressing a bit here. I've started doing research for how to lay my book out for Diary Confessions of a Hyper-Romantic Asexual, because I want to write in the diary about my bLU Talks experience so that you can see more insights, some of the insights in the Diary Confessions of a Hyper-Romantic Asexual. But I think I want that book to be short, so I might publish that book like in the near future. It'll probably end up coming out before Asexual Guide to Sex, actually, because I don't want to linger with that one. That one's more of an experimental book, to see if you like it or not, and it's going to be a short book because I might do a series of them because it's like the behind the scenes of my life. But I feel like maybe when I've written about the bLU Talks experience, that might be the end of the first book. It might just be the end of the book because I won't do any more, but I want to see how that goes. But I'm not sure about the formatting, the layout bit of it. So I've started doing research today about that after the summit, and also I started doing the questionnaire for Fuchsia, based on my interview because they need that in to actually do the article. So Going back to when I was in Nando's was nice, but I was still feeling down about Oxford. I was really not in a good way with my anxiety. No matter what I tried, nothing seemed to really work. Positive thinking, affirmations. So even before I went up to Oxford, I was trying affirmations saying, you can do this, Sandra, you're gonna be great, everything's gonna go well. But my negative self-talk was actually taking over quite a bit during that time, which isn't like me. It's really annoying. I think it's just so anxiety inducing for me that a lot of the techniques I'd learned over the years just weren't working, like, because to reduce anxiety, one thing that did work is chamomile tea. That did help reduce the anxiety. That was a very good thing to do, drink chamomile tea. So I have to say something worked. Might not have worked like, like, it might not have worked to the extent where it like helped me enough to, like, you know, feel much better, but it helped me feel some better. I'll say that. It did help me a lot, actually. I'll probably, as because I went back to hotel and I did actually have some of those cups after I'd been to the cinema. So the cinema did help as well. So going up there, it was it was like quite hard with my luggage. It wasn't too bad because I didn't take as much as I did to Disneyland. So um I really liked going in the Nando's there, but I was feeling really down. It wasn't my best mindset at all. Breathing techniques don't usually work with me. Like, and because I have extreme anxiety, because I've got an anxiety condition, it feels like I'm not even breathing. Like, it feels like I'm holding my breath, I should say. So yeah, if I do breathing exercises, that's more likely to work when I'm calmer now than when my actual stomach's in a knot. Because when my stomach's in a knot, it just completely takes over me usually. But anyway, I wasn't feeling too great about Oxford. I'm like, this is pretty much the same as Exeter, but Exeter's better. And I prefer London. I would have rather have been in London, to be honest, because I love London. And the train I went on went through Reading to London, and I'm like, I want to go to London now. Why can't I be speaking at London, which is like one of my favorite venues to go to, places to go to. But I guess one day I'll be speaking in London probably. Excuse me, I have to move my foot because it's getting cramped. I know I had to move the Mac then. Um, so yeah. And after I'd had the food, I did feel better because I was really hungry at that point. And I had the intuition that I think the alarm clock might be in. So I want you, Sandra, to go to Sainsbury's and see if that alarm clock's in, so then you can get it before the cinema and you don't have to worry about it. So I went there and it was like 3:27, I think. Bear in mind, the paperwork said to come after 4. I spoke to this guy and he looked at it and he saw it on his phone. He's like, oh, hang on a minute. So I went out the back, came back, and he goes, oh, the Argos van just pulled in and there's your item. So my intuition was spot on because the item came in exactly as I was there, where it wasn't supposed to be in till after 4. So that worked out really well. So I took that. Then I went to see the Trolls movie at Oxford City Centre. The Trolls movie is absolutely amazing. I really, really loved it. Do go and see it if you haven't already. It's really fantastic movie. It really cheered me up. There's a lot of singing in the latest one with Brozone. So they're doing like Mickey takes of like the songs from Five, Backstreet Boys, New Kids on the Block, all this type of thing. So they're singing, they're like in a band doing Brozone instead of Boyzone. And so it was really good. There was lots of music I recognized. They were really good, the Trolls. I really loved the storyline because it was the Bergens that previously had been the enemy, and now they were they were all living in harmony together, the Trolls and the Bergens. But the main character, the female one, she had a sister she didn't know about. So Poppy had a sister she didn't know about, and yes, so did the other character. Her boyfriend now had set of brothers, and they used to be brozone. Yeah, I can't even pronounce it. Brozone. So that was really interesting. And Poppy's sister had been in hiding because she still thought the Bergens were going to eat them, and so she captured Oh, you know the king troll with the who was with the maid in the previous movie, the first Trolls movie? It was amazing because they got married in this movie. And it was so funny because they made her the more dominant one. So he's a king, but he's like more shy. And the maid is no longer timid and meek. She's literally the dominant one who drives a Harley Davidson type of bike, motorbike, Hell's Angel type of stuff. And she's just like driving and the king's on the background. And she's like, "We're going here." And I love the fact that they've made her a really powerful, strong, dominant female character who used to be a maid. They've changed her from being meek and mild and worried about life and everyone to I don't give a shit. I'm gonna ride the bike. I'm gonna snog the king whenever I feel like it. I'm gonna take him here, there, and everywhere. And I really loved that. I thought this is amazing. This is my type of movie. Love a powerful, strong woman character, and I just love the fact they completely changed her character to they've still got the kind of like agileness about they've still got the femininity about her, but they've got the masculine really strong in her as well. So she still looks like herself in terms of like her face, but she's like really awesome character. Really awesome. So go and watch the Trolls movie. So that really cheered me up. It did help me relax somewhat. I was still tense, but I didn't go to the toilet that much in the film. It did help me a lot. And then I went to a Weatherspoons later on because I know with Nando's and Weatherspoons food, I'm okay. But if I start having foods that I don't know if they're good for my tummy or not, then I don't want to be doing that before I go to a talk and do my talk in case I get poorly. But there was a nice Thai restaurant that I saw. So I really want to go there, but I thought I'd go after my talk. That'll be great. And I really want to go clubbing. One thing I need to say to you is that I haven't been clubbing enough lately. I haven't been having enough fun in my life. I realized when I was sat in Nando's in Oxford that I hadn't been to the aquarium by myself this year. I have been in for my around my birthday time. I haven't been since. For months, I haven't even left my city. I think it's since about June. So I haven't been doing enough stuff for me and going out out of my city on self dates and stuff and doing day trips and things. I've mostly been in my city. Some of that's been to do with money and other times it's been to do with illness. But I really need to be nourishing my inner child because I can live without public speaking. Obviously, I'll still want to do this channel, but writing is my hugest passion, followed closely by asexuality, and then clubbing I really need for my soul. So it might sound weird. Most people are like, "Oh, I gave my partying days up when blah 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 happened," or "You've got to knuckle down to work and can't go out and party." But I need that. I need it for my soul to be able to go out, be dancing, be free. And if I don't do that, my soul feels like it's dying inside. So when I was there on the Sunday, I thought I haven't been clubbing for ages. I really want to go out. I was feeling so drained of energy. I was feeling so like I need to be nourishing my soul. I'm not, and I'm just staying in. And the problem is like I can get resentful over staying in because I want a speaking career, but there's a lot of anxiety over that. And also I have a lot of ill health because fibromyalgia is an autoimmune condition. So I can get really sick, and I've been sick quite a lot this year. I had a bug earlier in the year. Then after I think I had that for 1 or 2 weeks, and then I was okay. Or maybe had it for 10 days and then was okay for 10 days. And then I got sick again. And then I got a respiratory infection for over 6 weeks. I had to have a chest x-ray because I went to Disneyland Paris with a respiratory/chest infection. And then I had eventually got rid of that, and then I had COVID and lost my voice. So, it's been a tough year, health-wise. And the problem with the public speaking career is if I rely on my voice and my voice goes, then it's not gonna be good. So I am quite concerned about that about myself. I'd rather continue to build my book publishing business and do speaking now and again, really. You know what I mean? I still want to do speaking because I want to raise awareness for asexuality, but I need some stability, and I don't think at the moment speaking is going to be a very stable career for me right at this moment. But it could all change in the next year. And I had a really bad throat last night. It's still not fully healed. It's still a bit croaky, but it was like on fire and it was really painful. So I couldn't really live stream. So yeah, that is a huge concern of mine at the moment. It's like, well, if you go for a speaking career, speaking can be well paid once you go up the ranks of how much public speaking you do, and where you've been seen and featured. But it means relying on your voice, and my voice can be an issue, with when I go out and stuff. So yeah, picking up bugs. So anyway, during the night of the night on the Sunday before the Monday, the 23rd of October, on the Sunday night, I did get to sleep earlier, finally at 10:30, which is very early for me, just before I was actually falling asleep at that point because I hadn't had any sleep the night before. And so I was really tired. My eyes nearly kept shutting. I had to check some emails first and had to get back to the hotel. And so, yeah, I'm going to have some water to drink because I need it. This is my Ace top, by the way. I just thought I'd let you see this. From Redbubble. This is my Redbubble top. So you'll see a post in the community tabs for 30% off Redbubble clothing at the moment for Ace Week. So go and get that. Get this top or another one. This is one of my own designs. Everything's coming up Aces. Just thought I'd divert and say that. So anyway, we're getting to the stage of the night before the talk now. So what I did tell myself is I did have chamomile tea. That did help reduce the stress and anxiety somewhat, but I was still nervous. And then because I'd had a couple of those teas and I got to sleep around 10:30 something, I was so tired because I didn't sleep the night before. That might have actually helped me in the sense I was so tired I couldn't keep my eyes open, so I had no choice but to sleep. So I set the new alarm I got, as well as my alarm phone. The room was lovely, which really helped. The Premier in Oxford, Westgate. If you ever stay in the UK in Oxford, book that hotel. It was the best location, the best staff, amazing atmosphere, great decor. It's only been there for about 2 years. Really can't rate it highly enough. It was incredible. I loved it. Yes, there's extra things they could have done, like put more shelving in so you could put your clothes on shelves, but I wouldn't change the hotel like for another hotel just because of that. It was amazing. Really incredible. So that really helped. It's a very comfy bed, which because I've got fibromyalgia, I usually always try to go for Premier Inns if I can, or travel lodges, because the mattresses are usually really high quality and they're suitable for my pain. Although I lay on top of the duvet and pull it over me, so I kind of wrap myself like a sandwich in it. So I did get some sleep, but I woke up every hour, and usually on the hour. So only the last 2 hours that I actually slept for the whole 2 together, because I was getting up every hour, like pretty much to go to the toilet, which obviously is because I have anxiety. And obviously I was in a different bed as well, but it was because I had anxiety. But I did wake up early because I was gonna practice my script the night before. And when I went to sleep just before 10:30, I couldn't keep my eyes open, so I only got partway through the script, and I thought I'm gonna have to do it in the morning if I wake up early enough. But I did. I woke up around 6, so I went to sleep from about 10:30, just before 10:30 till 6 a.m. And then I spent an hour going through my script again. So, what I needed to say to remember as much as possible of it is quite hard remembering it. Even though it's my own life story, there's so many dates that I told in my personal story that I have to try and get into flow of like how they happen and what happened when. And it's weird because it's my own life story. It was quite difficult to remember all the dates and what happened when specifically, and make sure they're running in sync. So I went from age 6 to age 10 to age 15. Then I went to 2009. Then I went to 2010, 2011, jumped to 2014, then went to 2015, then went to 2017, 2018, 2019 to present day. So I remembered all the dates there, you see. So that was quite a lot to remember, right? Because 2013 and 2016 I wasn't talking about. So it's hard when you've got to remember all those different dates and what happened within each year as you're trying to look at the audience and speak and keep them engaged and entertained as well at the same time, with your body language. And obviously some of it's quite emotional. At one point when I did the talk, so I'm going to get into the talk in a moment, before, what should I say? Oh yes, I practiced my speech. So I should say what happened when I arrived. So I arrived at Oxford University for bLU Talks, And I didn't have a clue where I was going. I only knew it was at Oxford University, St Hugh's College, right? So I got a taxi there. I pre-booked my taxi for Monday, which is the day I was speaking, and the Tuesday for 9:30. The actual event started at 10 a.m. in the morning, but I wasn't the first speaker anyway. So it actually started at 10:30. That was a proper time on the agenda, which no one really saw very much. Like, we had it as attendees, but if anyone wanted to come along, like, and watch, free tickets, they could do so. And the event started at 10:30, but they didn't get given an agenda. And the agenda will change. The agenda changed anyway. We didn't get a full, like, proper final agenda because I was speaking fourth, and originally I was going to be speaking as third. So yeah, I wanted to go first, but even though I asked for that in the beginning, when I first was speaking to bLU Talks about, can I do the Oxford University talk? I want to go first to get it out of the way because of my anxiety, but it didn't happen like that. And part of that, I was told, was because my story is very sensitive because of asexuality, and they were a bit concerned how the university would feel about that. But it's like Oxford University supports asexuality. They support LGBT plus people. They've even got stuff on their Oxford University page, which is to do with asexuality for Asexual Awareness Week, because it's Ace Week this week. I've even shared some of it on my profile, So it's a bit weird. I didn't really expect that response because it's like, well, asexuality is normal. We need to normalize it because it's normal for some people, and it's really weird. It's like people talk about sex all the time, but when I'm talking about sex in the context of not having it or not interested in genitalia or nudity and stuff like that, and in the context of asexuality, people seem like taken aback by it or seem uncomfortable with it. I'm like, well, people like, show sex all the time in adverts, on billboards. Obviously, I didn't say this. I was just thinking this, like people say have sex all over the place, it's shoved down our throats 24/7. And when I'm talking about it from an educational point of view and, more of a matter of fact point of view, it's kind of like a bit weird that people find it strange because it's like, well, people talk about sex every single day. It's all shoved in your face with the advertising, the movies, the billboard posters, the magazines, the newspaper articles, all over social media. Like, I'm a person talking about asexuality and I'm not interested in sex, but I can talk about it, so it's very bizarre. I find it very bizarre behavior. But anyway, they wanted to open it with a guy who talks about business, which I guess, like, as bLU Talks is a business company, I do understand where they're coming from. And in some ways it's better I went later because I felt with the first speaker, people going in and out of the room, that's one thing I thought was weird, is everyone can go in and out of the room as they please, which from my point of view of needing the toilet quite a lot, it was good, but I tried not to do that very often, and I was sat at the back for the reason that I might have had to do that. But other people were most of them were further forward than me. But I found it weird that people were just walking around the room, like some of them were walking around the room. I know they were doing it for a purpose, but it's like, you know what I mean? It's a bit distracting, I think, for the speakers when people are kind of wandering around from one place to another. And I know why they do it, because some of them are people who are event staff and they need to kind of like do certain things at certain times. But it's just, I think, very difficult if you're a speaker because it can be off-putting, that type of thing. So yeah, I was like, so the day came and like I said, there was a guy who was the first speaker, but I felt like people were wandering in and out of the room a lot more with the first speaker. So I think it was better that I went later because I think I had the attention of the people more later. I think people were more settled in their seats. So going later in that respect was better because attention was much better. So there was 3 speakers on before me. We had a break, and then there was a person who was mic'd up before me. She went on. And then I had to go to the toilet again because, I get really bad anxiety. So I was difficult. When you have anxiety like I've got, I have to change your underwear and stuff like that. That's very personal, I'm telling you. But maybe I shouldn't share that, but I'm going to because, hey, I share my own life story in order to help you in yours, right? So you have to take spare underwear with you. And yeah. And so I had a nice suit on. That made me feel really confident. That was a good thing. I booked the taxi in plenty of time because it was 9:30. I had to be there for 10, but the actual event officially didn't start till 10:30 both days. The second day, I was just a guest in the audience. I was guest in the audience before I was mic'd up for the first day. So anyway, I wore a really nice suit. If you've seen the photographs, you might have seen that I had a midnight blue sparkly top on, sparkly jacket on and trousers with a red sparkly top as well. It's all sequins. So the sequins like were all beautiful together. I did show a shorts video of me doing a talk because I got someone to take it out of the audience and take some photographs. But the actual full talk will not be shown until 6 or 8 weeks time when they've edited it, because we're not allowed to take the whole footage. We're only allowed to have snippets of it because it has to be exclusive on their channel first, which is fair enough. That's their company, you know, Blue Talks. It'll look amazing when it's out, but it will be on this channel in the future as well. So I can't wait for that. It'll be interesting to see how I did when it's played back. I think I did well. So anyway, so my turn came. I was mic'd up. I was thinking, do I need the loo again? But anyway, I was mic'd up about 5 minutes before I was due to talk, so it wasn't really a good idea. So there was a woman who's known as an MC. So she was like the host and introduced us. So she introduced me. I think she found my book a bit of a mouthful. The Asexual Perspectives, 47 Asexual Stories. This one, Love, Life and Sex, a celebration of asexual diversity, because she's not used to saying these words. So I think when she was saying it, she was reading out like a bit about my background and where I've been featured on, and a bit, you know, like best-selling author, that type of thing. And I think she made a mistake from what I remember, because this channel's had over 500,000 views. It's actually had 640,000 plus views, right? So in my intro, she was supposed to say that this channel's had over 500,000 views, but I think she said 1.5 million by accident. But I didn't correct her on it because I had to then go and speak. And I thought that can always be edited if it needs to be. I thought I need to get this channel now to 1.5 million views, because then it won't be not true, will it? You know? So it's funny. She must have misread 500,000 as 1.5. But I really like the fact that she did that, in the sense that, you know, one day it will have 1.5 million views, I'm sure, because it's already got 640,000 views. So it's inevitable, isn't it, really? And I'll keep doing this channel anyway. So yeah, anyway, I went up and I started doing my talk, and I did have a very good entrance, because I said, I want you to remember this quote: only when the gain is greater than the pain will you push through your fears and make change happen and make it stick. And then I went on to do my talk. So I was quite a big booming voice, I think, woke them up. My my thoughts were to give them a nice hook, get them in on the action straight away in my talk, grab their attention, basically, because people's attention these days is usually like a goldfish, as you probably know, with all the social media. Obviously, when someone's coming to a offline event in person, then, you know, they pay more attention anyway, usually, because they know that they're going to be looking at the speakers, paying attention to the speakers. So it is a bit different than online. But even so I want to grab their attention. So I did the talk, and there was, apart from one person who did yawn once, doesn't need to say it was because my talk they found boring. They might have just been tired, like I was tired, and didn't get sleep on the Saturday night to the Sunday. But I did, because I was paying attention to the audience, I did notice they had one yawn, but everyone else seemed to be really attentive. Their eyes were like fixated on me. I was looking around the room at the different people, and they all seemed to be fixated, which I thought was a really good thing. They all seemed to be very intently looking at what I was saying and my talk. Thank you for the thumbs up. Love you lots. And so I really was proud of myself to be able to grab their attention like that and hold it, because it's not easy when you're doing that for the first time with a different type of audience. Don't forget, this is not an asexual audience. This is an entrepreneurs, authors, creatives, business leaders, you know, like these types of people. It's not the same as having a comfy asexual audience that I'm used to. It's out of my I am used to liaising with them online. I do attend Blue Talks networking events, so I've seen some people on the training, but I've never met these people in person. Corey Poirier, who's got 4 times TEDx talks out. He's an international best-selling author, #1 best-selling author, multiple books. He runs Blue Talks. He's a founder of it. It's a Canadian-based company. He came over with the event manager and some other people from Canada, America as well, and, you know, to do the talks and host the event as well. So he wasn't actually hosting. There's an MC for that, but he was hosting the conversation talks. So there was some talks in between speakers that were conversational, and he was the one that was actually directing the conversation and asking the person questions. So he was doing that bit. He was like the host of that bit, but there was still someone introducing him. So do you understand what I mean? So they had segments where it was questions and answers between him, Corey, and another person, which was quite good because it broke up the speaking and made it a bit more interesting for people in the audience, I think. So anyway, everyone was fixated, and it was difficult because I was trying to remember what I was saying. I think I did a very good job. There was a few little things that I did leave out. So my actual talk, I forgot to say at the end that nowadays, I go clubbing, I kiss younger guys, and I enjoy my own body, and I'm I self-date and stuff like that, because I was trying to explain my story from how I went from being depressed, anxious, suicidal, a mess with no purpose, to now being the opposite. And that I did have social anxiety, couldn't be in groups years ago, and now I'm the opposite. I did say that it was asexuality that changed my life in that respect, because I started doing asexual meetups in 2015, and prior to that I'd had social anxiety for years. Jesus, Nava, is that how you pronounce your name? Hello, nice to see you. So when I was doing the talk, it was kind of like, I'm trying to remember everything, but I didn't remember the last bit. But in terms of like the way asexuality changed my life, is I had social anxiety prior to January 2015, and I couldn't usually be in groups, and so it was hard for me. And January 2015, my life changed in that way, because I then began to hold asexual meetups, and I've held them ever since. And now I'm much more comfortable in groups. I can go out socializing in big groups, such as from meetup.com, with 30 or 40 people. But I didn't go into this bit about, I can go in other groups. I just kept it to the fact that asexuality changed my life. This is one of the ways I reinvented myself, because I decided to step up and be a meeting host for asexuals. And so now I'm not afraid I can go clubbing on my own. I can be in a meetup.com group of 30 plus people, and it's just incredible. So really, really amazing feeling. And anyway, so going back to my talk, everyone's eyes are on me, and I got some laughter. So years ago, I didn't used to think I'm funny at all, couldn't crack jokes, didn't do humor. And bit about my talk is funny, because I say, like, I couldn't talk about sex prior to doing my channel. I'm talking about this channel, and I'd be so scared and shy to talk about sex. I would only talk about it with an ex-boyfriend when I was in a relationship with him at the time. I wouldn't even talk about it with a girlfriend. And I had to really get out of my comfort zone to be able to talk about sex on this channel. But I knew, because I have had sex in the past, I'm asexual, I has had sex in the past. I knew if I wanted to help asexuals the most, then I would need to talk about my past sex life in order to make an impact in the world, in order to help you on this channel the most. And either I can take that information to the grave with me, or I can actually say it out loud in front of everyone on here, right? But I remember when I first started doing that on this channel, I was blushing, I was shy, and it was hard for me. But now I made the joke in the talk that it wasn't really a joke, but it's humorous. That I can talk about sex and masturbation like I'm drinking water, like it's drinking water. So that it's as easy as drinking water. That's what I'm trying to say. I said it better in the talk, but I'm just having a chat with you now. So yeah, now I can talk about sex and masturbation like I'm drinking water. It's easy for me. Like have a cup of coffee. Yeah. I don't drink coffee, but you know what I'm saying. So yeah, I really was so happy to be at the talk, even though I had a lot of anxiety. I was so appreciative to be there, because not many people get that opportunity. So I felt really confident in my suit as well, which really did help me. I felt very glamorous. Some people commented they liked my suit, it sparkles, before I did the talk. So I'm there doing the talk, and everyone's eyes are on me. They're laughing, and I had like three lots of laughter. The one about, like, now I can talk about sex and masturbation like I'm drinking water. And there was another thing I said. Oh, I think it's because I said that I reprogrammed my mind to be like 21 years old and I live like a teenager. It seemed that after the talk, people didn't understand that I was being genuine about that. I think they thought I was just saying it as a nice story and as a joke, but I was meaning it truthfully. Because I said it later. I said, no, that's really how I live my life. And because most of them don't tend to watch this channel, I don't think, they didn't understand that. I think they thought I was just saying something nice for the story. It's like, no, I'm telling the truth. I genuinely, um, do that. And they laughed at another place, like a third place, which I wasn't expecting. Well, I'm glad that they found my talk humorous. So I saw that Corey, who's the founder of Blue Talks, he found it really funny. And so that really made me happy that they all enjoyed my talk. So I think it was difficult is I couldn't drink water during the talk. I didn't because I didn't want to stop talking. And my mouth got really dry and clammed up of it like this. Oh, it was really hard for me to talk at one point. So I found that really difficult. I would have liked to have got some water at that point, but I just had to keep going because I'm like, I haven't got water up there. I didn't really want to stop because that would have made it hard to start again. And so I carried on, but it was hard doing that. And at one point, because it was very emotional what I was saying, my hand like was shaking, but it was good in the sense that it was appropriate. My hand was shaking the appropriate part of me going back to like difficult times in my past and my childhood and remembering those hard times. And so my hand was shaking in alignment with that. And so it was very good in the sense it was appropriate emotion at the right time. So that was really interesting and hard. And now I've got students shouting outside my home because I live near student accommodation. So while I'm doing this live stream, there's people singing outside. So yeah. So I really love living here. This is like me, a young, vibrant, energetic. Anyway, going back to the talk. So yeah, so afterwards, when my talk had finished, I got a round of applause, which was really a strong round of applause. So I felt that they really loved my talk, like some people just clap to be part of the audience and cheer someone on, or there's clapping where, yeah, I really loved that. And it was clapping that was really strong, like I really loved it. And I got people afterwards saying the talk was good. One guy came up to me who's the first speaker. He's a business guy and said he really loved my talk. I thought it was good because he didn't really he wouldn't usually listen to a talk about asexuality. Like it's not a topic he'd choose to listen to or know anything about. But the way I told it was really good and he understood it. So he found it insightful. So I was glad because I said that I did it in a way that would be relevant to entrepreneurs, with the life reinvention, how to reinvent yourself to become your best future self so that that audience can relate to it. He said, yeah, he thought it was good. And Susan, she said, I didn't really understand asexuality until you explain it in this talk. Now I really understand it. So that was really nice. And yeah, I had some other people saying that they really enjoyed my talk and they thought it was good. The cameraman liked my talk. He said, wow, you were straight in there. I thought I wasn't even going to get the footage because you opened it really strongly. And he wasn't even ready. I said, did you get it? He goes, yeah, I did. But he really liked it. He thought it was good. I got positive feedback later on from Corey, who's the founder, saying he knows that it was hard for me with anxiety and traveling, but I did an amazing job. So that was good. And the event manager said, good job. And that I should be very proud of myself. So all that was really, really good. So yeah, I really appreciated that a lot. And it was just, really good fun. And when I say it's really good fun, it was like an opportunity that I glad I didn't miss. Not all of it is fun. The anxiety was a lot to bear. It was very difficult for me. It did make me quite poorly. I'm quite worried if I do other talks. I'm hoping that I'll just get used to it and then my anxiety will be less and less because because I have done one now, so it should be a little bit easier in theory for the others, but I'm going to be a keynote speaker at a online summit called Be and Become Summit, and it's going to be based on the talk I did at Oxford. So, but I think I've got to prepare slides for that because I think I've got to do a PowerPoint presentation because it's got to be a content rich speech. So that's on the 14th of December. So I've got time to prepare for that yet, but I'm still sorting myself out since the talk. So anyway, I was really proud of myself with the talk. I was pleased that I did it. There was other speakers who I was cheering on. It was really amazing because one of the speakers before me, the second speaker of the day, called Lisa Stamper, she's like a spiritual coach and intuitive, and she can see things. And so she did a reading, a spiritual reading for me, and it was really good. She talked about my grandma in there. My grandma's been dead since 2014. She could have talked about anyone in my family that might not have been alive anymore, but yeah, she chose to talk about her. So I think that was really good. Because she was doing like a spiritual reading from up above. But it's really weird. She said some things that she said about a book series, but the series she was talking about is not what I thought of. But I was thinking, like, obviously I'm doing Hyper Romantic Confessions, Diary Confessions of a Hyper Romantic. That's actually my new series. Probably going to be a series. I don't know yet. I'm just doing the first book first to see how it goes. Diary Confessions of a Hyper Romantic Asexual. I just thought it was weird she said I was doing the series, but the series she said of books to do with Sandra Bellamy, my name, followed by, what was it, Little Drops of Wisdom, and talking about different parts of my life. So yeah, that's the book she saw in my future about to do. But I like Diary Confessions of a Hyper Romantic Asexual, which is not to do with my past. It's to do with current stuff, well, it'll be to do with my past by the time you read it. So yeah, I really appreciate the opportunity to be able to be on Asexual Awareness Week, ACE Week, at Oxford University. It was really good. And after my talk, when in the evening we went out for a meal together, me and the Blue Talks people, and it was really nice because we got to go to the Thai restaurant I'd actually thought I wanted to go to anyway. And so that was really good. I was really happy to be there. I'd got more used to this other speakers by then. Although there was someone sat next to me at one point that was coughing their head off, which is not good for me because I thought it sounds like they got COVID. I didn't say that to them. I know they weren't very well at one point before they travelled, but they were meant to be a lot better. So I don't know if it was to do with that and the remnants of that, the after effects. But it was just like really strange that they were continually coughing. I know that's usually a sign of COVID, but they'd had a problem, like I said, a few weeks before, was it or 10 days before they came, that were meant to be over. So anyway, I was worried about my health for that reason, but I thought with someone coughing next to me, it's highly likely I'm going to get sick if if they continue, and it did. But it was nice to spend time with them, see them. I got to sit next to Corey for a short time, and then they went for drinks later on. But I decided I was going to go clubbing in Oxford Monday night after my talk because I really need to go clubbing because my soul has been dying without the clubbing. Because it's good exercise for me. I love dancing. It's like one with my soul. It makes me feel ecstatic. It makes me feel so good. So anyway, I went clubbing on Monday night after I'd been for the Thai meal with them. Then I went for drinks somewhere else with them. I went back to my hotel, got changed, and then I went clubbing. Now I went to a place called The Bridge. And yes, this is when it happened, right? So I'm going to the club on my own, trying to find it. The map I got, which my best friend sent me the link to for Google Maps, I printed off, wasn't where I went because it just didn't really match up to directions that the taxi driver had pointed to before I got out of the taxi to go to the hotel in the first place. So I went to the bridge, and it's down some street, and it's like in the front of the street, but it's got like multiple dance floors. So I went in there, in the club. There was pretty much not very many people in there where I first went in there. I've got some pictures, which makes it look like it's nearly empty because it was when I first went in there and there wasn't hardly any people in there. So anyway, it was interesting because they had like drum and bass upstairs. So I did go upstairs first because downstairs it was a bit weird. It was like the music was next to the bar and people were just drinking at the bar and weren't really dancing. So I went upstairs and went to drum and bass, which I don't usually go. And I thought, oh, let's just do some dancing and crazy weird stuff up there. So I did that, but it was smoky. Like they were vaping really badly, and that gives me respiratory infection. So I thought, not only have I had the person sat at the Thai restaurant meal next to me coughing their head off, I'm now coming to a nightclub that is full of vaping. It's worse than the Exeter clubs. They vape in Exeter clubs, but it's just like, so bad in there. Like they just like, the DJs are vaping by the look of it, and they're vaping, and it's just like clouds of smoke. And I'm like, oh my lord. So that wasn't very good. So eventually I went down. I'd had enough of that. And after a while, this guy kissed me on the cheek, though, this British guy kissed me on the cheek because he knocked into me by accident and he kissed me on the cheek, which was fine. Some of the guys seemed to like my dancing a bit down there. Up there, I should say. Then eventually I went downstairs. I put my bag in. So I couldn't take my phone anymore because I had my bag but in the cloakroom area. And I just kept getting glasses of water because I can't drink alcohol and I don't like it anyway. So I went to get a glass of water from the bar. They were really friendly, the bar staff. It was a foreign guy behind the bar that kept getting me drinks of water most of the night. It was a women festival and it was a foreign guy, but he, even though he's serving other people, he still made sure he got my water. Like, he'd interrupt getting other people's alcoholic drinks to get me water because he knew I needed it, which I thought was so sweet. I felt really looked after and cared for by him, which was a member of the staff there. Anyway, I went downstairs, and by the time I got downstairs, because I must have spent like half an hour upstairs, I was downstairs and it was quite heaving. They seem to have the bar, then they have the DJ next to the bar, and then they have people sort of dancing in front of the bar and the DJ. It's a bit weird setup. But anyway, it's really good. Everyone's dancing. The music's so much better down there. And I was working my way into the crowd, jumping up and down, dancing. It was quite squashed though. At one point I was squashed, or a few times I was squashed against the wall, which I didn't like because it was getting quite like pushed for space, and I didn't want to end up, being squashed out, if you know what I mean, or being trod on or crumpled and crashed. But anyway, I'm quite a strong girl, as you know, got good muscles on me for a girl. And so anyway, I was dancing. At one point, it was really good. Later on, I had these people, girls and guys, around me, crowd around, going, you know, when they like someone cheers you on, like, go you, go you. Well, like it was that type of thing they were doing. They were crowded around me while I was doing some dancing. And then I kind of, got out of that and started jumping up and down. I think they're like, oh, what's she doing? I was kind of like this, and they copied me. But I thought it was really nice that they seemed to like my dancing and stuff. That was enjoyable. And then, like, after halfway through the night, probably an hour before the club was due to finish, this guy shows up who looked in front of me with his mate. And they were like this. And so I looked at him and I just noticed him earlier in the corner. And he was looking at me, and I just know guys who usually hang out in corners like that on their own are looking for a girl to come and pick them up and have sex. Because years ago, it used to be women who used to hang around on their own, and guys used to have to come and kind of save them and sweep them off their feet and, invite them to the dance floor, take them out for a date or whatever. But usually these days in the 21st century, it's guys that hang out on their own on the dance floor because they want a woman to feel sorry for them, a girl to feel sorry for them, and like, oh, is that guy left out? Oh, let's come and dance with him, and for the girl to take him on the dance floor because he's looking for sex, really, and that's what he knows usually leads on to. So it's a game that guys play, like a ploy, like a come and get me type thing. So the gender roles have changed around in that respect over the years. Anyway, I thought, I'm not going to go near you, even though I saw him smile at me. I liked the look of him. I thought, I'm not going to go near him. But this guy was one of the guys that ended up being in front of me with this other guy. So he had a friend with him, and I didn't realize that. I thought he was on his own just after sex, basically. So anyway, he was dancing with his mate, but then soon enough, he came forward in front of me and started holding my hand and dancing with me while his mate went to the side. So he ended up dancing with me for the rest of the night. I felt a bit sorry for his mate, but his mate didn't seem too fussed. And then he was dancing close with me. We're doing sexy dancing and stuff like that. So if you've seen the film Dirty Dancing, where people got their genitalia pushed on each other with clothes on, doing sexy dancing, like grinding. Yes, I was doing that, even though I'm asexual, because I'm a sexy asexual who likes dirty dancing, right? But that gets to a point where I do separate us. I'm not doing that all the time. Sometimes I've got my arms around his neck. Sometimes I've got my arms around his body, cuddling him. But it was really good. I asked him where he's from. He said India. But he didn't know I liked Indian guys. I mean, he didn't even know me. I was up there as a stranger. He didn't know who I was. And he happened to be Indian. He was doing a master's degree. So I don't know how old he was. Between 21 and 23, I'm guessing. But he was really good looking. I mean, so good looking. He had short, dark hair, but the look I like. Mostly clean shaven. When he's there, beautiful boy next door type face. Gorgeous smile. Lovely eyes. Very nice physique, even though I'm asexual and don't care about genitalia. He was like nice, body shaped, thin, wears really nice street clothes, which I love. Really good looking. And it's very good at like physical affection in front of everyone. He didn't give a shit what anyone thought. It was really good. I mean, he was just out to him. There was one guy filming us dancing, but he got quite angry about it and told him to stop doing it. And the guy's like, what? But I didn't know if that he was angry because he thought the guy was perverted, or angry because he actually got a girlfriend. He didn't want the footage to get around and his girlfriend to see. And I asked him if he got a girlfriend. He said, no, I just don't like that. But usually a guy doesn't like being seen on video footage because he wants other women to think he's single. And so, you know, or he's got a girlfriend. So anyway, but there was a couple of people saying stuff to him in the club. There was people at one point, much later on, saying to me to kiss him, but I didn't because he told me sometimes he vapes, you know, smokes, sometimes he vapes. And so I was worried about kissing him because I get respiratory infections usually if I kiss a guy who smokes or vapes. And so I didn't kiss him all night to the very end. So I was dancing with him close. I did do some sexy dancing. And you might think, did the guy have an erection? Because that's what you guys usually do. After all, he's a heterosexual guy. And yes, he did at one point. And am I, as an asexual person, really worried about that? No, I'm not, because I think it's quite natural for guys to do that. Doesn't really bother me. I'm not really fussed about it, to be honest. I'm like, okay, he's done that. That's it. But, you know, after a while, I'll start to move my body away from that type of thing. You'll be careful, obviously, of where that thing's going. You know, even if it isn't close, it's a bit too close for comfort. You have to move yourself, you know. But, you know, sometimes he's going around the back of me, which I know is a sexual position, like, because it means my bum's pushed into his genitalia stuff, you know, stuff like that. This is a very sexy dancing. You know, I'm asexual. I experience zero sexual attraction, but I have got grey areas with the way I like to dance and kiss, which is sexual behaviour, but I have zero sexual attraction. So anyway, he was kissing me, didn't care who saw. There was loads of young people, but there was one person who commented at the very, very end about the age difference, which, you know, well, he just made a horrible comment, you know, and I'm thinking that's just ridiculous. So, but the guy didn't care anyway. The Indian guy didn't give a shit. He just carried on. And when the lights went up, so everyone could see me in broad daylight, basically, well, broad nightlight, he then kissed me. Don't forget, he approached me, he liked me, and he kissed me, not the other way around. He went in to kiss me, and I did let him this time because I decided I really need some kissing. And I think he'd been having some gum or something, so I think his mouth was fresh. And I thought, will I risk it or not? I thought, well, I've had someone coughing near me. I've had all the vape. It's probably like I'm going to get sick anyway, so I might as well kiss the guy. Anyway, he kissed me for some time. When the lights went up, and he held my hand. He just went to grab my hand to hold it. Went out the club holding my hand. His friend like walked with us. They took me back to the hotel. They walked with me back to my hotel, which was really nice because it was 2 a.m. gone 2 a.m. by this time. So yeah, and he was holding my hand all through the streets in front of his mate, and then he was kissing me outside the hotel for like about 20 minutes or so. But I was, you know, I had to tell him that he wouldn't be coming in my room, you know. And when we were walking, I just assumed he picked up women all the time because quite a lot of the people at the venue knew him. So when we went out, it's like the security guards knew him, and then so it was a bit weird because at one point he's saying, oh, I don't know these people, some of the people that were saying for me to kiss him, for example, and then later on he's going, oh, I'm well known here. So it's a bit of a contradiction. So probably some of it was lies. But anyway, so yeah, when we went out, people knew him, but he was holding my hand and didn't care what they think. But I found out that he worked at a local bar and he also worked at a hotel. The bar was apparently called The Kiss. So I'm like, oh, you like kissing? He's like, yeah. So anyway, he was talking to me and we were getting on quite well. I told him I was only in Oxford 2 nights and had the event to go to the next day. And he wanted me to carry on seeing him, but I couldn't. And then when I got to hotel, I said that he wouldn't be coming in. He goes, oh, I don't want to leave you. Now, I know when a guy says, I don't want to leave you, years ago, I just thought that's so cute and he really likes me, but it's not. It means he's after sex. It means I don't want to leave you without having sex. I don't want to leave you without going to your hotel room and having sex. That's what it actually means. It's not a cute thing. It's not you they care about. It's the sex. Get that straight. So I told him no. So after about 20 or 25 minutes or whatever kissing, I went in my hotel by myself. I said, your friend's gonna get bored anyhow. I think it was about 10:35, 2:35 a.m. And I'd left the club with them at 2 a.m. They asked me if I wanted to go like on this hill thing, like really nice views. And I said, no, I didn't want to do that late at night with 2 guys, which looked really dark. It wasn't safe. So I just kept in the streets with them and went until I got to the hotel. I knew how to get back to the hotel by myself anyway. But I trusted them enough to get back to the hotel safely. And it was good to have them there, really, because, you know, you can get a few odd people around that time of night. So it's good to have people that I thought were fine doing that. So that was good. So we had more kisses. And then he asked me for my number as well at the club. So I gave him that. But then he was, when I got inside, he was literally text messaging me till 4 in the morning, was it? Yeah, because I only got 2 hours sleep. I think I got up at 6:30, or was it 6 o'clock? Yes, I might have had less than 2 hours sleep in the end. But anyway, yeah, I think, or was it 6:30? Might have been 6:30 I wake up. But basically, he was messaging me till 4:11 a.m. But in the end, I said I'm asexual because I said I got a YouTube channel. I showed him that, like, sent him the link for this channel. He's on YouTube as well, does a channel, travel vlog. But even through conversation, I found out that he doesn't want to stay in the UK. He loves going traveling, so he's different to me. So it wouldn't have been compatible for a relationship anyhow. And I thought, really, he's into sex. So even though he said he hadn't been, like, when we were walking back to the hotel, he said, I said, I think you do this regularly, pick up women. He's like, no, not since 5 months was the last time I had a woman. Like, and then he's telling me in text messages, after I told him I'm asexual, explain what it is, explain about my channel. He's like, oh yeah, I haven't had sex for a year. And I'm thinking, what happened to the fact that you were with a woman 5 months ago then? Is that just a lie? Or is the year at one ago, like, one a lie? And he's like, oh yeah, it was a one night stand. I had sex with her and she enjoyed it and thought it was good. But clearly, you know, we couldn't carry on because it wasn't too weak. And I said, oh, we're not going to be suitable then. He goes, oh, well, don't say that now. And anyway, he previously, before I found out I was asexual, agreed to meet up with me at the Thai restaurant so that we could go for a meal together, because I was going there anyway the next night, the Tuesday, because it's really good food. And so anyway, I invited him to come along. He said yes, and then said phone me after the event. So I did the event on the second day, the Tuesday. Went to phone him up, and he was like, oh, made up some excuse. He'd been talking to his parents, hadn't had a shower. So I said, that's okay, I'll go in on my own. I said, it's because we're too different, aren't we? We're not suitable. He goes, it's not that. But of course it was. And then I just said to him, oh, good luck, bye. And I've never heard from him again since, which I knew I wouldn't, because he was just after, like, kissing and thought he could get sex out of me when I was up there, but he couldn't. And that's it. And I mean nothing to him, right? I meant something to him in the moment, but that was it. So I enjoyed the time with him, the kissing, the cuddling. It satisfied my hyper romantic and hyper kiss needs. But I won't be seeing him again. I doubt I'll ever hear from him again in my life. But I'm cool with that. I don't miss him. I'm okay with that. So it's good. And I ended up eating with the Blue Talks people again, because they went to a Thai restaurant. Well, I should say I ended up eating on my own in that Thai restaurant. And instead of going to the Thai restaurant, they didn't go to that Thai restaurant. They went to the Thai restaurant the night before with me. They went to an Italian restaurant. So I ate the Thai meal on my own without the Indian guy. And then afterwards went to the Italian restaurant to sit with them for their meal, to talk to them. I didn't realise they would go out for a meal together on the second event night. So it's better that I spend that time with them than the Indian guy didn't really care about me anyway. And then I spent some more time in Oxford before coming home and had a great meal. So it was all good. Had a great time in the end. And I appreciated Oxford in the end. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this live stream. Lots of love. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell icon. So you never miss an episode. I'll see you on the next video live stream. Lots of love. Happy Ace Week. Bye.